All right, let's bring in Tia Mitchell, D.C.-based correspondent for the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, along with politics and Trump editor for the Palm Beach Post and USA Today Network, Antonio Fins. All right, Tia, Georgia Senate race. It's now going to go into a runoff in December. Georgia could decide the control of the Senate. What are you watching?
Well, we're going to be watching to see how quickly both parties are able to ramp back up and get their machine together to try to turn out voters ahead of December 6th, that runoff date. We'll also be watching to see how those other pending Senate races in other states play out, because whether Georgia stands to be, again, the deciding factor in the balance of the power in the Senate will have a huge impact on the money and the resources that do or don't come to Georgia. So if they need the Georgia seat, whether either party needs it to win a majority, will, determine resources that come to Georgia versus if those other seats kind of handle that question, then there will be a much different race in Georgia.
So what do you make, Tia, of the split ticket voting in Georgia with Governor Brian Kemp easily winning re-election, but not so much on the Senate side? Interesting dynamic.
Yes, it is an interesting dynamic for different reasons. Number one, Brian Kemp was the incumbent, so he got that power of the incumbency. But we also saw in the Senate race in particular, that candidate quality did have an effect. Herschel Walker was not considered a strong candidate, even by Republicans who support him. He was not considered a strong candidate. So we saw that he didn't get the same level of support that Brian Kemp had. He got fewer votes even than some other Republicans running statewide further down the ticket.
All right, Antonio, let's take it to you. This is where it gets scoopy here. You were at Mar-a-Lago last night, where the Trump fairy dust, was clearly wearing off a bit, as we saw among voters. Just give us a read of the room. What did you see? What was the mood like? Did Trump address folks there at Mar-a-Lago?
Yeah, the mood was at the beginning. It was very optimistic and I think bullish. They really believed that it was going to be a big night, and then it really didn't turn out that way. And the really interesting point was when Marco Rubio was declared the winner in the Senate race, and there was an audible, very clear cheer within the ballroom. We're talking about 200 to 300 people. But then later on, when Governor DeSantis, when the race was called for him, just minutes after, actually, it was kind of a much more muted, silent. People really did not react to it. Most people just kept going on with their conversations, which spoke to, this brewing friction that we have been watching and got even more pronounced over the weekend. So that was really the telltale sign. Now, the one thing I would say is that Mr. Trump was scheduled to give an address, a speech, and he did, but he only spoke for a few minutes, and largely just kind of acknowledged there was some hotly contested races, and they'd won a few, and by then, for example, J.D. Vance in Ohio looked like he was on his way to victory, as well as Ted Budd in North Carolina. But overall, the mood was of, like you guys have been talking about, it was of disappointment.
Well, do you think that took some of the air out of Trump's big balloon, and it may impact this, alleged announcement he's supposed to make about a possible run for the presidency?
Sure. My expectation was that when he gave this address, that he would either claim victory or basically, if the things didn't turn out the way they wanted last night, that he would come out and say, look, things didn't work out, and it's because I wasn't on the ballot, and the only way you can win is with me. But in fact, and I thought that he would use that speech, which he spoke about 10 p.m., I thought he would use it to basically springboard himself to this announcement next Tuesday that he's going to do down in Mar-a-Lago, but he didn't mention it.
All right, Antonio Fins, I hope you're going to be there if something does happen and you call in. Tia, okay, appreciate you both. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.